This episode is brought to you by listeners like you, fueling our podcast and giving us the boost behind this mic. Thank you for your support. Here's a taste of what's ahead. Head back and forgot tell him father, say, yo, because two of them overjoyed because they haven't seen Ben since he was taken, right? And now they have an opportunity for probably try and rescue him. That's the whole thing now. So, yeah, that happened. You're not going to want to miss this one.
For warp speed as we embark on a voyage through the vast expanse of science fiction in movies and television series. From distant planets to alien civilization, we delve into the hearts of the unknown, unraveling the tales that have captured audiences for generations. Get ready to unlock the secrets of the universe on Flix.
Welcome to Flix, where we analyze sci-fi and fantasy TV shows and movies through the lens of reality. I'm your host, Andre Bonner, and today I unpack Fallen Skies, a post-apocalyptic Earth under siege. I've been looking at the numbers lately, and I have to say thank you. The downloads are growing, the listens are growing, and people are clearly enjoying the podcast. But me notice one little problem. Plenty of uno listening, but not enough uno subscribing. If you've been rocking with Codeflix every week, laughing, thinking, and diving into these sci-fi worlds with me, and you still haven't hit the subscribe or follow button, me I wait. Me I beg you, just take 2 seconds and subscribe. It might seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. It tells the platforms that people are enjoying the show, helps more sci-fi fans discover the podcast, and it keeps Codeflix growing. So, if you're listening right now, pause for just a second. Hit follow, hit subscribe, maybe even leave a rating while you're there. Alright? Enough begging. Now, back to the podcast. I honestly can't remember if someone recommended this series to me or if I stumbled across it while searching online. Either way, I'm glad I found it. Fallen Skies doesn't come out swinging from the very first episode. It takes its time, slowly building the world after Earth's biggest nightmare has already happened. But trust me, stick with it because a few episodes in, the story finds its footing and never really lets go. The series begins months after an alien invasion has shattered humanity's defenses. Cities are in ruins, government has collapsed, and the few survivors are forced to fight for every single day. But the aliens aren't just wiping people out. They're taking children, transforming them into something no parent would ever want to imagine. At the heart of it all is one family trying to stay together while navigating a world that has fallen apart. Every decision is about survival. Every mission carries a cost, and every victory feels temporary because the enemy is always one step ahead. What I really enjoyed about season 1 is that it isn't just an alien war story. It's about hope. It's about ordinary people refusing to give up, even when the odds are stacked against them. And just when you think you've got a handle on what's really going on, the season closes with a cliffhanger that changes everything. New questions emerge, bigger mysteries begin to surface, and you realize that the invasion is just one part of a much larger story. So gather the resistance, because we're diving into Fallen Skies Season 1. Fallen Skies is an American post-apocalyptic science fiction television series created by Robert Rodat and executive produced by Steven Spielberg. The series stars Noah Weil as Tom Mason, a former history professor who becomes the third in command under Captain Weaver and retired United States Army Colonel Porter of the Massachusetts Military Regiment, a paramilitary group of remnant U.S. military personnel, military veterans, civilians, and various fighters fleeing Boston, U.S., following an alien invasion that devastated Earth. The series also stars Moon Bloodgood, Drew Roy, Jesse Schramm, Maxim Knight, Seychelle Gabriel, Peter Skinoda, Mfo Koa, Connor Jessup, Will Patton, Sarah Carter, Colin Cunningham, Doug Jones, and Scarlett Bryn. The series, production of DreamWorks Television, and from 2014 to 2015, being a production from Spielberg's Amblin Television, was broadcast in the United States on the cable channel TNT and in Canada on Super Channel, first run broadcast, and on Space, second run broadcast on a 1-year delay. The series premiered on June 19, 2011. On July 18, 2014, TNT renewed the show for a 10-episode fifth and final season, which started on June 28, 2015, and concluded on August 30, 2015. On January 1st, 2026, Fallen Skies was added to Netflix for streaming. Over its run, the series was nominated for 2 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Special Visual Effects and 14 Saturn Awards, including 3 nominations for Best Television Presentation and 1 for the Best Syndicated Cable Television Series. Season 1 of Fallen Skies throws viewers into a world where humanity has already lost the opening battle against a devastating alien invasion. So, you have cities lying in ruins, governments have collapsed, and the surviving population barely stay alive. They're struggling, right? And at the same time, they have to be fighting back against an overwhelming extraterrestrial force. The story follows a former history professor. You understand where he named Tom Mason? He becomes a key leader in the 2nd Massachusetts, which is a militia regiment. A group of soldiers and civilians were determined to protect what remains human, yeah? Alongside his 3 sons, right? Tom Affair try to balance the demands of survival and the hope of somehow rebuilding life as normal in the future. So, what is it that really makes this series, and especially this season 1, so special? It is the post-invasion perspective, right? So, the show now go in and show the invasion itself, What it does is that the series looks at how life is lived, right, after humanity's defeat, right, and the remnants. Now, we also have some character-driven storytelling, right, and this focuses on some of the families and friendships and even some of the sacrifices where the people them have to make during this wartime. Yeah? There is the overarching alien mystery, right? And this is seen in the way how the invading species just seem for us have everything in the shadows, right? And is because of certain new discoveries and motives that we are privy to, that we get to see some of the things that they're doing and what all that technology that they're using, how it works and all of that. And then we look at the military and its survival drama, right? We get to see some tactical battles, being drawn up. We get to see how the resistance, as a well-organized militia go on missions, right? And we also get to see the emotional strain, the moments, between the survivors as things escalate and overall how they live each day. I would say the core theme of season 1 is hope in the face of impossible odds. It's a story about how the resilience have to be kept up, the leadership, and the determination to protect family and preserve human life, humanity. And this is all happening while victory just seems way out of their grasp. All right, so why would new fans love this show? I think Falling Skies as a blend of large-scale sci-fi fictional action, right? With some personal drama, baked into the whole thing, right? And this makes the alien conflict feel grounded, right? Like this could really happen tomorrow, right? And we get to see that through how people's experience, right, of ordinary people. These are ordinary people, they're not extraordinary, right? And some of them don't have or never had, any particular training coming up into this, And as the resistance gets to uncover more about their enemy, the stakes get even higher. So it's almost like the more you know is the more things get out of control. So the fight for Earth's future just continues to get more compelling. In summary, I would say season 1 is an engaging introduction to a world where humanity's greatest battles have only just begun. And this is combined with the suspense, action, and the heartfelt storytelling, in a gripping tale of survival against an alien occupation. These are my personal insights and interpretations of the series Fallen Skies, Season 1. So, this episode 1, Live and Learn, starts out with young children telling their version of the invasion story, right? So they're drawing pictures. So we see these pictures being drawn of their families, kids with harnesses and, some alien airships. Now, Tom Mason was the star, right? His son, Matt, tell Angla say that his mother died during the attacks and his older brother, Ben, would have been taken as one of the harness kids. So him even show her one picture of him father and him older brother, right? Who is Hal, right? So we get to introduce to the family, right? Now Matt him tell and say that the two of them are for fight, right? And just as them, exposit on all of that, we see Tom and Al, them out in one dark street, and they're basically looking food, right? So them have one food cart where them are go around with, and in the middle of all that, them get ambushed by some robot mechs, right? Now them hardly can get for protect the food, for squirrel away with it because them destroy the food, in the moment. Now Tama, Al, them after us flee, you understand? And them go back to a position where some other soldiers are there and they are basically, engaging those aliens in battle and thing, from behind some barricades. Now the aliens them end up destroy the barricade there and kill the soldier them, right? Now Tama Al them decide say go hide in a one empty store, right? But as them exit the store they know, right? Then finds a Weaver, right? Commander Weaver and some other soldiers, them, come in and thing as backup basically. And we see where one of the alien airship them fly overhead and a fire, right? And this cause one very bright light for just basically shine around them. So the group now end up of a retreat back to base. So of course when I reach back a base now, Tom him see him son Matt asleep and thing and him pick him up and him, talk to him friend Anne, right? And now Anne basically I relay about now the same thing where the son that tell her about, the drawings and so on. The middle of that, and this happens quite a lot, Colonel Porter called Tom into a meeting, right? And it is then that Porter tell them about the plan for him to leave the city, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split up the crew, right? Or the fighters, right? So then break up into groups, right? The alien airships them seem to be able to detect groups of humans over 600 persons. So by doing this, it would, for them to break up into smaller groups, it would have basically helped the fighters, the civilians to stay alive longer, right? So he must say, boy, he must put Weaver in charge of this unit called the second mass, and Tom Agabe is second in command, right? And he basically got the lens to tell him, say, yo, there's a reason why me I tell you to be the second in command. You know what I'm saying? I want you for just make sure you keep Weaver in check. Because Weaver seem to be, the type of military man where does, he not really into the whole civilians thing. It's like, he would disregard the civilians them in a way for say, boy, because they can't fight for themselves. I think the word they use is that them are just mouths. Them just nyam. That's all they do. You know what I'm saying? That's the way he believes, and you have some other persons who are gonna believe that about it too. You know what I'm saying? That the fact say, them no really contribute to the fight in that way. But Tom have a unique perspective, being that he was a university professor. So basically, he was a civilian, but him understand a little bit about fighting, and that is the reason why he's there. So him have him toe in both sides, in both camps, so him understand, and him can probably keep, Weaver, on the level in certain things, not to countermand them in everything, but for kind of give him a different perspective. Say, hey, yo, we can't really think about this, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the case. And that's what we see throughout this series. So getting back to what's happening. So the next day, the fighters, them and the civilians, them get to move out, right? And of course, they are searching for food because they get no food a while ago in time, then try to get it, right? Same way, they not find no luck now. So Weaver tell Tom, say that them can go look for no more food because them have too much numbers for account for, right? So Tom say, listen, me I gotta go look for food, right? But just need a couple people and thing, and Weaver basically like, yo, alright, me just give 6 fighters, cause Weaver not too fancy Tom as him second in command neither, You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, what you really want, alright. You know what I'm saying? Just because me not go give you all of my fighters them, me need them for do business, what you try for do. I just go long term, it not go last. Basically, that's what he's almost like he might try to put that there. So, the all of them load up. That's Hal, Karen, Di, Anthony, and Click. Oh, and Jimmy. I forget about little Jimmy most time. You know what I'm saying? So them go up on the hunt for food and thing. Now, Hal and Karen, they have one little thing. You see me I say? It's not apparent right out the gate, but later on we do see them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So them gonna out as the scouts, them going look ahead for find any aliens, right? Now, I'll him see some mechs and him see the harness kids them with them, right? And him also see his brother, right, Ben. So of course him immediately, you know what I'm saying, head back and forgot tell him father, say, yo, because 2 of them overjoyed because they haven't seen Ben since he was taken, right? And now they have an opportunity for probably try and rescue him. That's the whole thing now. So, the overjoyed moment kind of pause because Hal want to dismiss the mission here now for go find Ben, but Tom have to insist. And when I say him have to insist, him literally have to fisticuffs him down on the ground because he wouldn't be convinced any other way, right? And he's gonna say, yo, we need to do it the right way. We need to make sure, say, yo, we know how much risk we are taking on. What, all them little things that you need to strategize the way how we're going to get in there and we're gonna go and get your brother, my son. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In some ways, I kind of feel like, we have the spirit of Tom. You know what I'm saying? That kind of spirit there, yeah? Anyways, so the group, them find one supply store, and in there, you know what I'm saying, is food, right? And as them they are them a scout and thing, and them not find none and thing, them feel good. So them call in the truck now for come pick up the the rest of the them and thing and everything. But all of a sudden out of nowhere, there comes a skitter, right? So if you have not watched the series and you just been introduced to this whole thing, a skitter is a 6-legged creature, looking alien kind of thing. That them species kind of look more arachnid like, and the head look more insect like. I mean, it's not like a spider, right? But yeah, them have them 6 legs, and the head look more like a, yeah, them have 2 eyes and thing, but then kind of look very insect like with some talons and something. Anyways, Tom, come in and rescue him son, him fire off some shot and thing. It run away and thing. Then one mech get alerted because you have to be quiet, them can't really shoot round, and because they shoot now, the mech get alerted and it come now after Tom. Now Hal him shoot at it, for stop it and thing, right? And then it start to run after Hal now, right? So Tom put some C4 in one of the shopping cart them, and then push out it to the mech, right? In the mech direction, and shoot at it, and big bomb explode. You know what I'm saying? And then the skitter now, come after Tom, all right, skitter, come after Tom, right? And die, right? He shoots after it and thing, and the alien, pass away right there. So, of course, because of the gunshots and so on, what I'm saying, so them have a, thing there. Them say the skitter die, right? And thing, so them head out of there and thing. Now, the 6 fighters them return, and Tom I tell Weaver, say, yeah, we get some food and thing, but we also want to go to find Ben, because we find out where Ben there, and we have a strategy and thing, and now Weaver, as me say, he's no fan of Tom right now, so him just decline that and say, yo, listen, you know what I'm saying? We need to get some armory and weapons, you know what I'm saying? And Tom agree and tell him, say, yo, listen, all right, since you send me upon this, can me agree with you, say that we are going to need these things. But when we get this, we are going to go and find my son. You see me I say? Yeah. So, before the second mass get fever, left out of the city now, right? I'll give him little brother a birthday gift, right? Which is a ripstick, and this is what I love about this series, is that one moment there could be fighting in a war and thing in the war zone, and somebody just died or something happened, you know what I'm saying? And the next minute they're trying to live their best life, right? They're trying to survive as well as to live their best life, you know what I'm saying? After all, you have to have something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? And give him brother a ripstick, right? This skateboard looking thing, right? And him brother, go out and play with it and thing. And as the other kids them get a try a fight and thing, and everybody just a watch and a thing, and then, even Weaver, you know what I'm saying? Him heart not so cold, right? And we'll get into why his heart seems cold right now when we get into the other episodes, right? But yeah, he, him pause for a moment, but then he says, we need to leave and thing, and Tom signal out everybody, and say, yo, we need to mount up. Let's go. That's episode 1. Episode 2, The Armory. So this episode starts out at the armory, of course, right? Tom and the other members them gather to see if the aliens are present. Now Hal him throw one tennis ball to the entrance, right? Hoping that the dog that them have with them will go for the ball, right? The dog move forward and thing and start barking, right? And then we see the mech appear. So because, they use that in, certain tactics. Now, Jimmy, what I'm saying, the youngest of them, him no want then kill the dog. So him stop the dog, him a call back the dog and thing. And that compromise now their position, right? So all of it move before the Mech attacks now, right? So of course now Tom have to tell Weaver about what happened and thing. I tell him, say that them had a breakdown in discipline and you know what I'm saying? Weaver was like, Jimmy, right? Yeah, so he figured it out, right? Now and confront Weaver about the current sleeping situation, that the civilians them are living in tents and the fighters them get houses, right? And Anne says that seems a bit unfair, right? So Weaver tell them say that the soldiers need proper rest and thing. Now Anna and Tom also discuss the same thing, it's like, the civilians versus military thing and Tom I try to stay impartial about it because what, it kinda depend two side of the camp, right? Now the two of them say Uncle Scott teach the kids them about biology, right? Now, Uncle Scott did want to talk to Tom from before, because they must tell him, say, yo, him have an idea or something, that came to mind, in terms of the fight that them put up against the enemy, right? And Uncle Scott now I talk to Tom about the aliens them and he might point out that when we as humans make robot, right? Them would look exactly like us, right? Two legs, two arms, right? And a torso, right? With a head on top. So why is it that the mechs look like that? However, the skitters, who are the aliens, they have no resemblance. You know what I'm saying? Now, them run into lords, right? Who should basically work with Anne all the while, right? And Karen I talked to Al about she seems like said she interested, that's Lords, interested in him. You know what I'm saying? Remember saying, Al and Karen have a thing, right? So she a kinda pick up on the fact say that, Lords have feel some type of way about Al, right? Now I said, boy, but me not really that interested in her, you know what I'm saying? And in case Karen now Tom interrupts them and thing and tell Al that they are due to return to the armory later, right? Yeah. And one thing that's very funny about that scene is that that entire exchange happened inside of one of the house them, and then because it's overpopulated, of course, and the walls are thin, yeah, people that hear them a chat about this and thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyways, later that night now the group gets ready and thing, and Jimmy, of course, is told, listen, Clicker go take your place this time and thing, which make him feel very disappointed because, you know what I'm saying, he know kinda why them do it, so him is like, boy, you know? Now, at the armory now, Click end up get shot, so, boy, good thing Jimmy never come, right? And two arrows in get shot with, and that kill him and thing. And when him a go down, him basically shoot someone in the leg, right? And because we here is a human being, you know what I'm saying? So it's not an alien, right? So we realize it's a group of outlaws, basically, right? Them capture the entire group and thing and of fighters and thing. Now this outlaw who leads the group named John Pope, and he's gonna be important for later again, right? There's another name that we gotta know from here, you know what I'm saying? Him take them to the auditorium and blindfold them and take them into the auditorium and thing, right? Now, Pope start to interrogate them, right? Of course, Tom did have, kind of give them some of the answers them and thing, because he be responsible for his team, right? So, Pope pull a gun pan Tom and say, yo, me me no need no leader in this group here. Me are the leader, you know. So me gonna take you out and then, you know what I'm saying? And before him can get for do anything next, I had that I jump up, you know what I'm saying? And I tell them, you know, everything, right? 'Cause up to this point, Pope never know much. He did I watch them, you know. He did watch them from afar and thing, but he never know beyond that what was going on, right? And that is revealed in the way that he might discuss say how him know about them and how that them have guns and them have one cannon on top of one of them pickup truck, right? And he might tell them say him want that. So Hal must be the one now for go back to the second mass and tell them say the terms of the hostage negotiations now is going to be you give us that and we that pick up with the cannon and everything, right? And the guns and food and whatever you have on you now, and we, you know what I'm saying, you guys get to go free, right? So Tom, while him there wait and thing, asks for a beer, you know? And Pope is like, you know, we're the uncivilized, you know. You can have a beer and thing. And him there I try to chat with him and thing. When you know, out of nowhere, Pope is like, see, yeah, my brother side, my brother is the one that got injured, right? And he was down and thing, and I say, oh, when you did plan for take it and, you know, try to get yourself out of here. And, you know, him tell him, say, yo, there wouldn't be any reason for me not to try. You know, it was worth a try, right? You know, so we can see the beginning of some kind of, you know what I'm saying, if you want to call it some kind of relationship, some kind of, you know, mutual understanding about the both of them, right? And they don't really know each other good yet, but, you know, you can see, say, boy, the kind of, you know, bro kind of talk, you know, even though they're on opposite ends right now, right? So, of course, Hal returns now, and I'm tell Weaver about the situation, and Weaver say, we can't make that trade there with Pope. No way, right? And him make Mike and thing there know, say, yo, listen, you need to take Hal upstairs as prisoner, right? We are get ready for leave, cause if we're compromised in our position right now. Obviously, him know what's power with there and thing, and he might come for us. So, might as well we leave and thing, and we can't give up way good old weapon and sitting and rear. You know what I'm saying? So, when, you know, holiday, you know, I'll well want to rescue him dad. Him want some way to rescue him dad. And Mike carry him upstairs, and Mike is like, yo, may I go make you get for go do it, you understand? And things. So just take the something them and thing. Take my gun and something. And him and Hala say, should I hit you to make it look good? And Mike is like, no, you don't hit me. So we like that. We like that little, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. You don't hit me. You don't have to hit me. You know what I'm saying? I'll just be in the closet. Just lock it and pretend as if, you know, you're overpowered me somehow, take the gun. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, him thing. On his way out, Anne is there. And Anne offers to help because, you know what I'm saying, Anne no want nothing to our family. You know what I'm saying? But reveal too much, not true. Anyways, yes, Anne and Tom will have something later on down. We'll see how that develops, right? And it's obvious. It's very obvious from the beginning. Says something going on with these two, right? It you know what I'm saying? It's not just me spoiling it for you, right? Anyways. So because she's a physician and she hears say, boy, someone is injured and thing, she comes. She reached there, and of course, Margaret would have been the girl who was with Pope, and she was the one who took Al out and tell himself, for go on and thing. Though, Margaret is like, where is the thing there? Pope found out too as well. Where is the thing where you're supposed to carry come? You know what I'm saying? And say, listen, I am here, right, for offer assistance to help your wounded brother. You know what I'm saying? Cause he might go bleed out, he might go dead and thing and share. You see me I say? So them allow her, them watch her and thing and she bandages up his leg, right? Now Pope leave him and thing because Pope decides say, yo, he might go try and take on, you know what I'm saying, the second mass now, right? And rob them, right? Because, you know what I'm saying? So he leave him brother, Margaret, in charge of the prisoner them, right? So, of course, Margaret is no fan of Pope and him crew, right? She was just basically running with them because she, felt secure in a way, right? Even though she would have explained, right, that she was taken advantage of, right? So I'm trying to keep this above board without having to do any disclaimers for this one, right? All right. So she, as soon as she got the chance now, she kills Cuba. Yeah. Yeah. And, of course, that helped the guys, them, the group to escape and thing. Now Pope him send up a flare in the air, right, for alert the airships them and thing, right? Cause say nobody now go want stay around, you know what I'm saying, knowing say the airships that will come, knowing that, you know what I'm saying? So him a give Weaver an ultimatum now, say, you know what I'm saying, you need to give it up now, you know what I'm saying? Cause say you know no time and you can't evacuate so much people so quickly with the thing. So might as well left it with me. And you know what I'm saying? So of course Weaver Afe agreed to that because boy, you know what I'm saying, put him in a bad spot, you know, right? So Pope and them group now, them man load up a car now and thing, right? Tom and the other rest of fighters, them come out now with them guns and thing and they, take out couple of Pope man them and thing. So Tom now a theme ultimatum is either you're going to join or you're going to die. So of course, Pope being, that he doesn't want to join right now, you know what I'm saying? Him decline that offer, right? And him a wait for aliens to attack. Now, one airship now fly above Pope, right? And him try to drive we now, right? If the whole of man them a get killed by the ships and thing. Now Pope pull off aside, not too far away. I try to escape same way. But Weaver was there waiting on him. And he pull a gun for him. You know what I'm saying? They take him as prisoner. So now the next day now, Weaver him talk to Tom and about all the wedding happen and thing and you know what I'm saying? Weaver is like, I still can't believe how you make this your mania where you know what I'm saying now no training or just take you out. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be the second in command. That's the vibe where you get. That's not exactly what he said, but the big vibe where I get is I was like, yo, me shame. Say yo, yeah, the second in command. You know what I'm saying? I dig. So if say anyways, you have you risk yourself. So this are your duty now. Pope hire hostage. Do him with what you want right now. You know what I'm saying? So Tom take him in custody and he meet up with Matt for a quick game and thing. And, that's what I always like. You know what I'm saying? The episode just ends, nicely there. You know what I'm saying? Them having a nice game of catch. Now, after that, now, Tom, Hal, and Karen, Diane, Anthony, and Margaret, right? Then become the next team, right? So, you know what to say? You know what I'm saying? Some people get added to the team. Margaret get added to the team now because Margaret helped them to escape and she's trying to earn her trust through, fighting alongside them, right? So them go on a search for Ben at the local hospital, right? Yeah, things are looking up, right? End of episode. Episode 3, Prisoner of War. So there's a Dr. Michael Harris, right, that gets to join the second mass, right? He has a theory about saving the teenagers that have been taken by the aliens, harness kids, right? However, the plan could be derailed, right? Because Tom start to dig for some answers to some questions that have haunted him since the early days of the invasion. The second mass comes face to face with Skidders and Mechs, right? When them try to attempt to rescue Ben. Now, during the escape attempt, or rescue attempt, I should say, Mike sees his son. Emotional damage, and him just run after him, right? Deviating from the original mission altogether because I'm son. So Tom goes along with that plan, right? And just, what I'm saying, you have to think on your feet, So he decided, he might go help for rescue Rick, right? Him get knocked unconscious by one missile blast where, a mech bust off, And this was when him that try, Kaima say, boy, make him see if him can get him son as well, right? But never work out. So the mech still upon them tears and things, so the group now have to leave Hal and Karen behind, right? So when Tom regain consciousness, him very outraged, right? Because him a discover now say Hal, one of him other son, gone now, and Karen, right? Because they were left behind and thing. Now Tom start to gather up him ammo and thing and him belongings, and him decide now if we go down a one dark tunnel, back towards the hospital, right? But there is a skitter in the tunnel, right? Tom win the battle, right? Because when Imam Pope did attack, and I should have mentioned this because this was very important. Pope tell him say, you don't try to done your ammo upon the skitter when you try to get it, right? You go for the legs, right? And then once you knock it off of its feet, right, then you can take it out whatever way you want. So him decides say him now go take it out totally. He's just going to knock it off its legs and make it unable to walk. And him knock it out with him butt-time rifle and thing. And him drag that skitter back to the school, right? And give Captain Weaver them first prisoner of war as the episode. Roll credits. Knowing that him two sons, them out there, I'm ready for, scout back at the hospital and thing, by himself, him want to go out there back, Now, we see Hal wake up on the ground beside Karen, and him see two honest kids pulling her away, right? One of the kids, them is Ben, right? He must struggle to get up because he has been knocked out, right? And for how long him did they out, right? And he must shout, Ben, Ben, Ben. Now we see a mech just shine one bright light upon him, and we see 5 harness kids line up in front of it. And then we see a skitter walk in front of them and points at the line of the children. And then the mech takes all the children out. Of course, you know who traumatized. If you never traumatized before, you're traumatized for life. So, anyways, back at the school now, Dr. Harris and Dr. Glass, them are prepare for start working on removing the harness from Rick's body. Them are use matrix technology, and I like say them have expensive laboratory or equipment per se to work with, right? Them have basically what is in that school's lab at the time of the attack, which was 6 months prior, right? So Dr. Harris might explain that they did this procedure how many times before trying to perfect it and only ended up killing the kids. And the way the man that talk, you could have tell say, yo, this a brother here, him too cool for you do this. You need somebody who have some warmth, something about them. You know what I'm saying? This a man not sound like him have something about him. And this is why the way Tom did that react with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you get to realize, no, say, boy, no, something all right with this brother here. And, and then him a talk as him a pull off the thing with a blowtorch, right? And I cut the connections and stuff from, the harness and the kid's back. Of course, him explain the whole process that the harness acts like a drug, basically, and you basically have to counteract the drug by applying a strong enough drug, right? A strong enough dose of similar kind of drug for kind of keep the child level as you take them off of it, because that's why they lose them before, because once you cut the tie off of them and thing, the harness, they basically go instantly into withdrawal, and that kills them.
They're taking the children, and those spinal harnesses are doing something far worse than just controlling them. Before we dive into the fight to take back what's ours, we are pausing for a quick intermission. Don't lose hope, stay vigilant, and hold on to your humanity. Back in a flash here on Code Flix.
If you're hearing this, the signal made it through. This podcast isn't backed by sponsors or powerful allies. It's built by one fan with a passion for sci-fi, hoping there are others still out there listening. If the episode gave you hope, made you think, or reminded you why we fight for great stories, pass it on. Share it with a friend or colleague. Leave a comment so we know the resistance is still growing. Every listen strengthens the signal. Every follow brings another survivor into the convoy. Every share reminds us we're not fighting alone. Because no one rebuilds the future by themselves.
So, he must say the morphine now will keep the kids them as long as thing there. And what they would do is that they would be able to cut back the dosage slowly over time, and that would bring the kid back, basically, right? Now, there are still going to be some pieces that are left in the kid, right? So, because it has been in Rick for so long, because he's one of them that was taken earlier on, so he would have it in him a long time, just like Ben, and so it becomes a part of their body, like living tissue. Now, we see, that react to the whole procedure. It was coughing and convulsing, and Mike did a fair try to, reassure himself as well as to kind of keep, himself calm, Then we see Tom arriving near to the hospital. Him run into a tormented and distraught Hall, right? What tell him, say, boy, where him see happen and thing, and him say, wait, slow down. What happened, right? And him even blame him father for leaving them behind. You know what I'm saying? And Tom explain, say, that, the children them and, is a message basically them a try to send, right? To take one, we'll kill the rest. That's basically how it is, right? Now, Tom, that they are trying to pick up and resolve, you know what I'm saying? That the next time when we go in, we just have to just take all of them. So Captain Weaver watch as them have the prisoner locked up in a cage, and that is the same time when Captain Porter shows up now, and Commander Porter, I should say, shows up and him tell them that him need to study it, right? Know thy enemy, right? So him tell them, say, Michael Harris, I go stay with the second mass a few weeks longer to study the skitter, right? The skitter. Skitter. All right. So Pope now make himself useful because while if they they lock him up a thing, them now go deny him food, right? So them they take some food carry go give it, and the way the body react when they eat the food is like if I say, yo, I don't know if I cook, I better let me cook. Can be no on for cook and thing. So then give him a chance to prove himself because, he says that he was in prison and him cook for the prisoner them, and if he not cook good for the prisoner them, they were going to deal with the case. So, what I'm saying? He had to learn, So, the food never tastes bad based on how, everybody react. You know what I'm saying? Like, the food that tastes bad. You know what I'm saying? That did not poison nobody, So, Weaver tell him, say that, they will give the chance there to prove himself to the second mass, right? But he must still be kept on a lock and key. And I have to watch him keenly same way. Now, Tom, get back now and he say, Rick, and how Rick stabilize and him still alive and thing, and that give him like a hope and thing. Now, I know, say she want to clean him up and, get him for, talk about what happened to him and thing, she think about, his mental, you know what I'm saying? That's what I like with Anne, you know what I'm saying? But Tom more interested in finding out about Harris, where Harris there, because he want to talk to him, right? So him go and find Harris drinking in front of the captured skitter, right? Disgruntled and pessimistic, you know what I'm saying? Tom get very angry with him, right? Because he found out that the day when his wife, Rebecca Mason, right? Rebecca Mason died, right? It was in order for Harris to escape and save himself. Of course, Harris denies this and I said that, he wasn't with Rebecca. But eventually, he finally give it up and said, boy, yes, I was there. And him think that it would have been more useful than Rebecca. Him feel like say, because him have him big brain and him a scientist and sitting, him would have been a better, for keep him alive. Like, seriously, bro? Yo, me would have beat him badly. Time give him one a hell of a hook that way, you know what I'm saying? And him a say, yo, it should have been him instead of Rebecca. And him a turn it round pa Mason off to tell him, say, yo, it would have been better for him because Rebecca might have saved Ben's life, right? By dying, basically, so that he could live. That definitely turned me, red. You know what I'm saying? I not even meet happen to, but boy, me feel a way, right? Now, in the school, they have been putting up pictures of missing children and thing and all of that. So Tom decides to put up a picture of Ben on the wall of missing children, right? And the episode ends when we are seeing at the operating room, Rick and the skitter seem to have some kind of connection because he, what I'm saying, the way how they zoom in on both of them, right? Both open them eyes suddenly, right? At the same time. So something is going on there, right? And that's the end of the episode. Episode 4, Grace. So the prisoner skitter that they have, they want to get some information out of it, you know what I'm saying? Know your enemy, you know? So and Dr. Harris, them a try various ways of communicating with it, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, Weaver sent Tom all out on a mission, right? Tom is obviously desperate to rescue Ben, right? And of course, they might tell him, say, boy, you know, the kids them will undergo harness removal operation. They need to be pumped full of drugs to wean them off of it and all of these things, right? And Rick is still under some morphine drip, you know? So if the second mass is going to have to get more kids, right? They're going to need a lot more drugs, right? And they need to be able to find a way to go and come quickly, right? So Pope, you know what I'm saying, offers to show them where a motorcycle dealership is that is nearby the school, you know, where them can get the bike, them and thing. And that will help them to be able to transport the drugs them quickly and so on. Of course, Tom kind of skeptical, you know, and I'm saying that Pope does want to help them, you know, out of his good graces, especially when him say him want to join them on the mission. Now, red flag go up right there, so for me, of course, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, Matt is frustrated, you know, that him can't be of much help to him father and him brother, right? Him get picked by Uncle Scott for help for monitor some radio signals, you know? They might use one hand-cranked receiver because the aliens them would have let out some EMPs and so on, you know, where would have caused all electronic devices to get inert, basically, right? So the only thing they can rely on is mechanical power and all of these things, right? Now, and she showed the aliens them the picture of Earth and the galaxy. You know, she tried to establish a baseline, you know what I'm saying? And for a woman like her who, and when I just say as a woman, you know, but as a person who just learn about this whole thing and try to figure out something, she's pretty quick, right? Because that's the basics. You want to establish a baseline for communication, right? You want to find common understanding somehow, right? Even if it is just a few grunts or or a little noise that's made, you want to have that there, right? So, she go through the pictures, the man stuff and thing, forget the skitter to share a little bit more about itself and whatever. Harris is, is like him a dismiss the whole notion of like, my pour gasoline on the situation, right? Cause him decides say him going to torture the skitter, right? And what we get to realize there's a reason why he's doing this, okay? Him bring the corpse of one of the skitters that were killed by Pope's gang and show it to the alien, right? And of course, that sends the alien, to be not acting very positively, right? At the same time, now Matt notice a burst of static on the radio, right? Yeah, just at that very same moment as the alien behave erratic, that happens, right? Now Tom and the others them end up at the dealership, and before they end up at the dealership, they see a group of skitters that seem to be sleeping, and they're sleeping under this bridge, right? And them coming like bat, when bat, if you know bat, them sleep upside down. They hang and sleep upside down, and they are there, right? Now Pope, because him love to deal with with skitters, right? he also just blowing them up. But Tom is like, that would have draw too much attention, brother. You know what I'm saying? And we just pass by. We don't really need that kind of attention right now. So when they reach our bike store, one thing, Hope find himself a way to get out. You know what I'm saying? Cause Die there watch him, And him knock out Die, escape with one of the bike them, right? With enough fuel for blow up the skitters them. And he goes and does that, which causes the team to realize what's going on. So when them there in the place now, after they see that happen now, they see my group of harness kids, and these kids aren't the regular kids, them, right? They have been equipped with weapons. Yeah. Armed. And them open fire upon the shop, right? Now Tom, him refuse to shoot at the kids, and the team, however, end up to escape, right? Then find a way to distract the kids them, right? Because they don't seem to be able to do anything other than to shoot at any target, right? It's almost like they've been given that thing there. So in the whole shebang wagwan, Die get shot in him leg, right? And Tom and Die have each one motorcycle, right? Them get attacked by one of the skitter them. The skitter will seem to be controlling the kids, right? However, the two of them managed to kill it, right? Tom decide now, say him a go. Him have to leave those kids behind. Him a think whether or not him should have take them, but him have to just leave them. So at the same time now, Rick gain back some consciousness, and him father Mike attempt to talk to him son. It's like, hey Ricky, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, you don't recognize me? I'm your father. Now, Rick is like looking at the skitter like a time father. Like, yo, the brother. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, you know what I'm saying, Mike? This chart about that, Now, another thing that was strange is that the harness somehow cured Rick of his cystic fibrosis, right? Because he had that before, right? And him did sick all the time and him something there, right? Now, Mike, him very frustrated, so him a try to communicate with the skitter, right? Him asks why it chose the kids them and why his son was cured. Of course, the skitter answer him, right? Him satisfaction. So him take the gun and him push up the gun in the skitter mouth, and this caused the alien to just collapse. And it's at the same time that more static get picked up by Matt and Scott on the radio. Because them they still a play around with the radio, try to figure it out, right? So, of course, at this point, you realize there's something going on with the radio and the skitter now. You know what I'm saying? The radio waves are probably the way how they communicate, right? Probably that's how they get a message out there. Now, Harris and them do an autopsy, right? Because this is after, them get to understand what's going on with that. And them see some internal organs, right? That basically give some clues as to why, they're able to, communicate using radio waves. But of course, because this corpse has been, there for so long, right? Most of it is mush, right? So them can't really get much out of that, right? Them can't conclusively say, yes, something is this. The CM captive skitter in wake, right? And Ricky, him take the harness and put it back on him spine. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? him then I try to free the alien. And of course, him get caught by him father Mike and the rest of them, you know. The skitter start to talk through Rick and ask them to free it, right? And then after that it say to kill it. Now Mike, him take him son and him rip the harness off of him back, right? Yeah, but what I do that too? I mean, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't care at this point. You know what I'm saying? So after Tom return, him and Weaver discuss the mission, right? And Tom suggests that the harness kids were used against them as some kind of psychological warfare, right? Obviously, because you know what I'm saying, you take them picking it, you know, and because you know, say they might be people's children and them nobody don't want to hurt the children. You know what I'm saying? You put guns in their hand. So Weaver know that it worked because hey, Tom could fire on them, you know what I'm saying? So it even assure them say, Tom I say boy, it assure them say that the kids them, right, are being used by the skitters them, you know what I'm saying, in a human way, right? So them need to learn enough now about them so that them can beat them. So of course Tom tell him say, listen, me still want to go after my son, you know. You know what I'm saying? And the other kids them. And of course Weaver is like, alright. I see him thing would I do if me have a kid. You know what I'm saying? I'll try every time to get him back. Now Tom now I prepare for leave and him get approached by Maggie, right? Margaret. And she tell him say that she know one pharmacy where where they're nearby, right? Because all of the other one them within a few miles would have been picked clean, basically. So Maggie suggesting a better solution, you know? So later now, them there at dinner and the group get some bread, right? And this would have been bread that Pope did do before it did go, it did go on the tirade, and blow up his skitters, them I escape. Yeah. And Lords, she says grace. Yeah, what an episode. Episode 5, Silent Kill. Alan Maggie, them come back from a night of scouting, right? And them bring back a bag full of pharmaceuticals, right? So them got the job done, you know? Now Tom wants to know if all of the drugs them are gonna be available because tomorrow night they're going hunting for kids. Right? So they want to get the harness kids them and thing. Now, and I mean, say, listen, like a true, expert and professional. She's like, listen, I ain't the best person for this, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Harris are the best person for this. You see me, I say, I will do my best, you know what I'm saying? And Tom, I want you to have some realistic expectations, that there can be issues with the procedure, okay? So just be aware, cause Anna I'm friend and thing, and she want to make sure say, you know what I'm saying, him understand the risks, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the next morning now, Tom, I sit down with Weaver now and thing, and him a discuss, what the next move is, and at this point now, I have realized how these two have come full circle, right? Not totally full circle, but them come a good way, right? From how they begin. Great character development. You know what I'm saying? This is a tutorial in character development for any series or any movie out there. You do it in stages, right? And this is the stage where, you know what I'm saying, them have a mutual understanding and them have a disagreement between them, but them don't allow the disagreements to override the mission, you know what I'm saying? The overall mission. So them there and them I go over the plan and thing and what them are gonna do and whether this would work, and them both have criticism of each other, but it's constructive, you know what I'm saying? It's not about tearing down the other and try to make it look fool, you know what I'm saying? So Weaver, I tell him, say, listen, me see some things where not look too right and thing, you know what I'm saying? You're planning on Tom, right? Hal him step up now and I give him ideas, you know what I'm saying? And thing, and him I suggest that them keep the skidder asleep, right? And then they go in, right? Or someone goes in quietly and takes out the alien while it is unconscious, right? Now, back at the medical ward, now Dr. Harris and they disagree about how they should go about treating the imprisoned skitter, So, the same time, the civilians they believe that, boy, if a keep a enemy like this so close to us, is a big mistake, right? Maggie even meet one of the people them, right, who is a pregnant woman named Sarah, right? And she she and her have a little thing, and she have mentioned twice, say, them need to understand so that them can be prepared, I'm saying, Now, Anne's Uncle Scott, right? Yes, that Uncle Scott. He continues to experiment with the communication, the radio skitter communication, and him discover, how the aliens are using radio waves and thing. So while him they are working at the lab and thing, and him a play the music, right? One nice piece of music that play in that episode now. And we just see Weaver just get up and you can see say him have some deep feelings, it a come from somewhere deep, and him take the record away from the woman. Him him a say, boy, me no know some we can play, we have the right to play what we want to play, and he say, yes, you can play anything except for this. You're not gonna play this so you know what I'm saying? Anyways, in the field now, Tom and Hal them a practice them archery skills, right? Because the plan going involve them using some archery, you know what I'm saying? Because they have to be very quiet and can't use boy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they have to use pew pew, you know what I'm saying? It's not the pew pew, but the pew pew, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, Maggie is an expert, right? Because she learned, a little thing, So, and she even know about the CM hospital where the skitter is gonna be with Ben and stuff. So she able to map out the perfect path that the Tom and the rest of the man them can follow for going on the mission. Now, Dr. Harris, him get left alone with the skitter, right? The captured one. And him notice the creature make some new sound, right? And act differently, right? Now, at the same time, Scott pull Anna aside, right? And address, them about the whole thing, of her not wanting to put her child up on the board, right? The one that she would have lost. Yeah. And we didn't know up until this time that Anne was going through something far worse than even Tom, right? With her son, right? She couldn't, deal right there. So she was, she was like, yo, I don't want to talk about this and thing. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, when all of that one scream, interrupt them, right? And when I realize Dr. Harris, right, the skitter have him pinned in the cage, right? And taser him, right, for get him for release Harris. But by the time he release Harris, him dead. I don't know how Harris reaching at the cage with the creature, but him going there. Apparently, for some reason, it's not science. There's no way this man is performing science. And I'm saying him not even try to perform it well, right? Yeah. We've nobody really know what really happened to Dr. Harris because it got create a panic and thing. And Dr. Ann, she believes that boy, we can still study the creature. There's something we can learn. You know what I'm saying? So him say, listen, we have 24 hours to get the information where you want, right? Because me I come in there, me I come take it out myself. Now in our courtyard now, Hal him see Ricky sit alone on a bench and thing. And him try to make a little small talk with the young man. I ask him what it was like to be harnessed and thing. And Ricky just then I'm shell. You know what I'm saying? Not even a good shell. Him totally like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, locked off, zoned off. So him not willing to give anything, you know what I'm saying, about what happened to him or nothing, you know what I'm saying? And he may even tell Hal, say, listen, y'all go rescue Ben, I go be one fatal mission. And it wasn't like him a want him in a good sense, it was a bad way. Now, Lourdes, right, or Lourdes, she run into Maggie and thing and invite her to the baby shower. You remember Sarah? Yeah. Sarah, baby shower, you know what I'm saying? And Maggie is like, I don't think so, and thing. And I said, why? You not seem to have like a rapport. I thought you would be interested, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, Tom now him suggest that and should post a picture of her son. Me no same did know, right? Well, in the find out from the uncle, right? So yeah, if everybody don't need that and thing, and he might tell her that she need to, even though thing there it was a short life and thing. So she's like, no, me not think so, Now I'll him got to Weaver now, right? Him have a new idea, right? It just came to him, right? On how he can save his brother and the kids. So him want to go in at hospital, right? With Ricky's harness, right? Strapped to his back like one of the kids, right? Right? Of course, Tom no want to hear this, you know what I'm saying? Because this is a giant risk. You don't know what will happen. Oh, suppose it recognize that you're not harnessed for real. All sort of things, you know what I'm saying? All sort of questions, right? Of course, Weaver is on board because, you know what I'm saying, this sound like something, would that make him invisible to the enemy? And, it's one of the oldest tactics in the book. Well, of course, Hal a Tom's son, so, you know what I'm saying, Tom don't really want his son for us go into this big risk, you know what I'm saying? So, before them can attempt the risky plan, right, they need to figure out how to actually take out the skitter, right? And do it silently, and if it's even possible. So, and, being there, I try to figure out something, and being that she don't have much time, she takes the opportunity to test a theory, right? And takes a scalpel and she opens the cage as everybody is watching now, and she delivers a blow to the alien's nerve center in its soft palate. And she did it gently. Yeah. And it kills it instantly and quietly. No, this I first mess to the side of and in will look very vicious, and you know what I'm saying? But I explain it that basically she just pictured her family, right, while she was doing it. And that's what, allowed her to be able to do it. Yeah. And then now she come and confront the whole thing about why she hasn't posted any photo or anything of her son, right? She not have anything for him, not one picture. So she does take the same bloodied hand and wipes the skitter's blood onto the board to witness and signify her loss. And I tell you, yo, woo, gives me the EBGBs, man. Anyways, later on, the rescue mission goes in action. Tom and him crew them hide out in front of the hospital, and Hal with the harness strapped him back, makes him move and thing. Tom, of course, nervous. Nerves are kill him. You know what I'm saying? God, boy, I could lose another son. You know what I'm saying? Trying to save another one. You know what I'm saying? Right? If he not have much of a pep talk to give him, just hug Hal. You know what I'm saying? Him enter the building alone and thing. Hal reaching there and he realize, him see the harness kids them and thing, right? And of course, the way how the kids them a walk and him a fear match that, and him pretend to be one of them, and he goes into the location where the skidder is with the same vacant stare in his eyes. Outside, Tom is impatient, and him not really want to wait for a signal from Hal, because hear from him in a good little while. And even ask Maggie how long it take him to reach inside the so and So, then decide say, all right, them I go try to find another way in and thing, I'll know I feel lie down with the rest of the group, you know what I'm saying? And the skitter is over them, right? Because it kind of crouch over them for for protection and for warmth and all of that. Now he might try to make him move and thing to get the knife out of his pocket and thing. And the rest of the honest kids them join in the fight. You know what I'm saying? For fight against Hal. But Tom and Maggie enter the room at the right exact time for help Hal for kill the skidder. Right? And it does make the rest of them go inert, because them, them no longer have anything to control them, right? And him take the kids them out of the building and thing. Tom bring the kids them back to Anne and our medical staff, and everybody string up and do harness removal, string up and because I only ended the and thing, because Dr. Harris died, you know what I'm saying? And use the blowtorch to remove the harness needles from Ben's back, and it goes okay. Now the kids them start to show signs of withdrawal, right? Drop of blood pressure, labored breathing, faint pulse, right? So it's a race for try and save all of the kids them, all of the 6 of them. And I'm happy to note that it's only one that she wasn't able to save. So while Hal await now for hear how Ben's surgery go, him see Maggie in the hallway, and she finally, tell him the real reason she knows so much about the pharmaceutical them and the hospitals, and it's because she suffered from cancer when she was 16, and of course she had beat the odds to be here, Now, Tom him come out of the OR and him tell her the good news. Ben is recovering. Happy moment, happy time, right? And tell him oldest son how proud him is and how it is to watch him grow and, into a brave man, that him can count on. Now, at the baby shower, the woman them offer hope, support, and well wishes. Of course, Margaret there, Maggie, end up go, right? Even Anne and the medical, them people. Now, Tom, Holland, Matt, them sit around and watch Ben recover, guys in unconscious said Weaver looks on as him happy and thing, and him have that look upon him face like, Chairman, and me that, Now, Anne was very exhausted. She goes into the medical room, right? Tom, they are try to comfort her and thing, and him reassure her, say that she really has done good work here. She saved the lives of these harness kids, and as him finish him hold our hands them, and at them time now we see Ben wake up. And that's the episode.
Well, that's a wrap on the first half of our journey through Falling Skies Season 1. We've covered episodes 1 through 5, and things are only getting more intense from here. We will continue with episodes 6 through 10 in Part 2, where we'll see how the story unfolds, the biggest twists, and how the season reaches its conclusion. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in Part 2.
And that's a wrap on this episode. We're on the road to 5,000 downloads, and every listen gets us closer. If you've enjoyed the ride, be sure to follow, like, and share. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. This content is CAN credentialed, which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm on their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org.